Doing Myth of the Realms raids, Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, let's get to it. Aspharos, the first circle. I'll save them. I must. It appears to be the words we seek, but I'm afraid to no state to answer questions. There's no way I could read it that fast. Too far. I was too far near the edge. Okay. Of course. Got this. Got this, got this. not gonna lie. But we got it. How polite. That was a thrilling display, and if I may say so, vaunting, the warriors I spun from your ether fought even more splendidly than I had anticipated. I suppose they were cut from excellent cloth after all. We should wait until this man regains his senses. He wears the robes of a warder, and I would be very curious to know what drove him to attack us, sight unseen. Yo, he stirs. What came over me? It's coming back to me. My mind was filled with a storm of desperation, anger. I leapt at you, though I knew not of your intentions. Pray accept my apologies and my thanks. Had you not knocked some sense back into me, I may have fallen upon someone less capable of defending themselves. I am Thonos. Eric Thonos, a warder of Aspolodos, Pandæmonium's highest lair, and the place we're in now. One must wonder why you were so desperate to keep us out. What is happening in Pandæmonium? The creations interred with Apollodos have been set free, and stalk its halls to no end but violence. That is not good to say the least. Has this ever happened before? No, never. Each level of Pandæmonium is under the charge of a keyword who keeps strict control over the most minute aspects of their domain. They are selected with great care, and their loyalty to Master La Brea is absolute. Yet something has gone terribly wrong. Try as we might to hold the line, the chaos within is overwhelming. I hardly realized that I had become separated from my colleagues. I remember a chorus of whispers assailing my senses, and afterwards only flashes of rage and fury, then blackness, from which I awoke to find that whatever had overcome me was gone. I see. Your senses may have been muddled by magics that affected mine, perhaps the selfsame ones that saw you separated from the other warders. Whatever had taken hold of me, thank you for releasing me from its clutches. That you've come here from the surface must mean some word of our plight has reached the outside world. If you know anything that may help, pray tell. Horror among horrors, so Pandæmonium's protections are indeed being dismantled from within. by the same individual or individuals that released its captives and set them upon you, no doubt. Such knowledge avails us little, however, if we cannot ascertain their identity. Themis, was it? You said you worked for an organization under the auspices of the Congregation. Were they to receive word of what has transpired here? What measures would they take? Doubtless they would consider this place to be a lost cause. Pandemonium's ties to the outside world would be severed, or perhaps it would be wiped from existence entirely. As I thought, were the creatures to escape into the outside world, there would be untold carnage. The words of La Habrea would never risk that, despite what value the research subjects may hold. All the more reason to work with haste. If we can't expect further help, then it falls upon me to save the others. I'll not leave them behind. You would go alone? I won't leave the other warders to face certain doom. I know they fight for survival even now. They wouldn't abandon their duty. They wouldn't see the creatures return to their cells they would see the creatures return to their cells at all costs. And so I must do the same. Themis, I know the request I'm about to make of you is a monumental one, but please, say not a word of this to the Convocation until I've been given a chance to set things right. Forgive my rudeness, Ericonus, but my decision cannot be swayed by emotion. You would only be consigning yourself to an early death. Strength of resolve alone cannot win in the face of overwhelming odds. That being said, our investigation has only just begun, and we would be remiss to turn back ere we made an exhaustive survey. So for the time being, there is slightly more than resolve to rely upon. I knew you would be all too eager to join us. Each moment since you fell from the skies has been more interesting than the last. More and more you remind me of my dear friend. Which goes some way towards encouraging me that this matter will yet reach a satisfactory conclusion. So you agree to help. For the moment, our goals align. The protective magics of Pandæmonium yet hold, so for the moment time is in our favor. Let us proceed upon the course you and Yo have set us upon. Themis and Yo, yes, thank you. The Wanderers owe you a great debt already. We shall be glad to have someone familiar with the Pandæmonium halls by our side. A party of 3 is ever so much more entertaining than a pair of 2. Now, let us turn our attention to rescuing your colleagues. Perhaps it would be wise to approach the gates, in case any have followed you out. It seems our investigation will be quite the ordeal after all. Still, I find it hard to believe that La Brea knows not of what has transpired here. Whoever the mastermind of this crisis is, they do not lack for power and cunning. Not a sound can be heard from within, which means neither creature nor warder has made it this far. We should begin forming a plan to save them at once. Forgive me if I misunderstand, but do you mean to rescue the warders and creations both? Naturally, although they may be dangerous, they're valuable research subjects. I wouldn't see our labor, our untold hours of study, go to waste. I dare say, La Brea would smile to hear you say such a thing. That is, if we had cause to report this incident to him. Smile. I'm not sure his face is capable of such warmth. Ah, so you have met him before. I was under the impression he rarely visited Pandæmonium. I have, yes. My mentor was the previous head of this facility. That is to say, La Brea's predecessor in the position of chief keyword. Her name was Athena, and she was a researcher with the words. 'Twas she who appointed me this position, in fact. I see. I did not know there was a chief keyword before La Brea. Your motivation to save your research subjects is not entirely driven by duty to the words, then. You wish to also preserve the work of your mentor? You've the right of it. I'm lacking in ideas of how to go about that, however. I'm a mere warder and cannot wield intermittent magics. Ah, but of course I can hardly expect you to be versed in the magics we use here. If you recall, during our battle earlier, I bound you in ethereal shackles. Interment is a more refined and powerful magic based upon the same principles. While both are used to keep our subjects docile, only the keyword of each tier is permitted to use interment. Even if I were allowed, I lack the aptitude to use the spell to any notable effect. Fascinating. I have some knowledge of these forms of spellcraft, actually. La Brea himself established the foundation, if I recall. While shackles are meant to bind an object in place for a short time, interment freezes the very space around it for as long as the caster wills. Indeed, while the illusionary beings you summoned in our fight suggested as much, I see your knowledge of magic is vast. Perhaps you've already mastered the art of interment, and I've been lecturing you like a child all this time. I am afraid my knowledge ends there. I have not the precise understanding of how the invocations interact with natural laws that would be needed to cast such spells with any consistency. While I consider myself well versed in various magics, I would be ill-advised to assume the duties of keyword without instruction. That being said, if I were to learn more of interment and its inner workings, perhaps. Well, you have a warder standing right in front of you. Well, the solution is obvious when you put it like that. Erthanos, you implied that what prevented you from performing interment was lack of magical capacity. What if I supplemented your power with my own? Would the spell succeed then? I can't say for certain. I've never heard of such a thing being done. I believe it may be our best recourse. That is, of course, assuming you can perform the initial rites and incantations flawlessly. Even the smallest misstep we would have to start, and we would have to start over. You needn't worry about that. I've seen the spells cast so many times that their motions have been burned into my memory. It won't disappoint. Very well. Let us work out the specifics afterwards. Once we do, we can test out our methods on one of the escaped creatures. Though I suppose there is the matter of finding one. It would be foolish to rush in blindly, lest we find ourselves surrounded with naught but an untested stratagem at our disposal. Nay, I would prefer to engage a single creature that Yo could dispatch on her own if the spell were to go awry. I agree, and I may have an idea in that regard. I recall seeing the hippocampus wandering the waterways during my flight. Perhaps it's still there. Few of the subject house within Alpha Nodes are fond of water, and I believe we'll be able to engage the beast without fear of unwanted guests. Then that shall be our first target, or perhaps subject is a better term. Before we commence with the interment magics, the creature should be weakened to a sufficient degree. I believe I can trust you with that task. As dependable as ever. Once you have given it a thorough trouncing, we shall bind this hippopotamus with the keyword magic. Until then, my illusions shall fight by your side. Then Hippocampos will be alone, but it's a daunting opponent nonetheless. Its magic warps the environment around it, and it will be at home amidst the waterways. Steel yourself for a fight. Athena ever drove home the fact that our subjects should be treated with the utmost care. 'Twould be best if we could see them confined once again rather than disposed of like beasts gone feral. I take it we are each ready to fulfill our respective roles. Truth be told, this will be the first time I have practiced magic that requires such a degree of cooperation between parties. How thrilling. Oh, so close. Be right back with another raid tier. Do, do, do. Oh, you're such a weird cat. There you Okay. How did I die? No. Oof. Hell yeah. That was a trial by fire or water, I suppose, but I had faith we would see it through, so long as we had your stout arm, of course. I knew that you would know mere mercenary, but to make such clean work of the hippocampus. Seasoned fighters scarcely have occasion to visit Pandæmonium, let alone display their skills. Mastery takes all forms indeed. Needless to say, our plan worked to perfection, in no small part thanks to you too. His power was more than enough to complete the interment. Spellcasting was never my strong suit, but that almost made me feel like a proper magos. Truly, having seen your abilities firsthand in your fight with Yo, I beg to disagree. Shackles is the one exception, and 'tis only because I've been forced to practice it since I was but a small child. Other magics leave me feeling completely out of my depth. Regardless, it seems luck is on my side. To guide me to you, we may prove the impossible possible after all. Okay, got it. I'm outside now. After witnessing the hippocampus's capabilities, I should not blame you for wishing to avoid engaging at any further creations in the place of their choosing. Alas, I doubt we will have the luxury. While our success in sealing away the hippocampus is certainly heartening, the fact that we have yet to see any other warders concerns me. The keyword of Asphodos is nothing if not cautious. Doubtless he has gathered what warders he could and retreated to a safe area. Let us hope so. It occurs to me that I know little of the keywords. Besides their magical prowess, is there aught more you can share? Of course, a man named Hesperos is in charge of Asphodos. Not only does he have thorough knowledge of the creatures here, but he takes great pains to be a mentor to each of the warders under his charge. Oh, shit. Furthermore, keywords are not only masters of interment, they can also bond the hallways of Pandæmonium to their will with creation magics. With all this in mind, I am certain that so long as Hesperos guides them, the other warders are safe. I can see why absolute control over the environs is imperative. Had we faced the hippocampus upon arid sands instead of waterways, I suspect the battle would have ended much more quickly. In any case, if this Hesperos is as capable and caring as you say, what would you do? We would do well to seek him out as soon as we can. He has not taken to your colleagues to a secure location. The safest place would be the innermost circle of Asphodos. From there they could flee to Abyssos if hard pressed. Even should they have sought safe haven within the other circles, if we make for the fourth, we ought to encounter them on the way. Indeed, and we shall gain a comprehensive understanding of the situation with Asphodels, which will be essential in determining whether we ought continue down to Abyssos. The rub, of course, is that I myself possess no power to bend the circles to my will. Instead, we must proceed through the central corridor, which was barred by the Phoenix last I checked. Phoenix, I have heard that name before. A fiery bird with life eternal. Beyond unquenchable brilliance, the perfected concept boasts nigh boundless restorative powers, if I recall. Truly an exemplary feat of creation magics. Perfection is ever built on the back of failure, however, and La Brea suffered countless missteps during his experiments. And he was hardly the only one. This Phoenix will be but one of many attempts at the concept gone awry. I, far from invoking wonder, our Phoenix is a creature of fury and wrath, and seeks only to turn the world to ash. Thus was it confined within Pandæmonium. Development of the concept continued elsewhere, but as the moons turned, more and more researchers abandoned the project as an impossibility, save for La Brea and his words. When I received word that at long last La Brea had succeeded where so many others had failed, I was nearly overcome. Pray tell, how did the warders of Pandæmonium celebrate their master's accomplishment? I don't believe we did. The research of the words of La Brea has little consequence to our work here, save for those rare times it charges us with a new specimen. Truth be told, I don't remember anyone making note of the occasion. But enough reminiscing. We must make ready to confront the Phoenix. While it's possible that it flew off to some other wing of Pandæmonium, we would make the assumption at our own peril. Better to assume that we'll need to bring Asphodels' most unruly subject to heel. I certainly see no reason to delay. The Phoenix power over flames will avail it far less in a barren corridor than elsewhere, so it might well serve us to subdue it sooner rather than later. Well, yeah. Hello. What? It seems whoever is behind this can alter the space around us at will. We face an uphill battle. Impossible. If those were creation magics at work, then that means... Let us confront that reality after we have conquered the enemy in front of us. Every drop of our focus shall be required if we are to inter the Phoenix. Yeah. We shall gain naught from allowing the larger implications of this to distract us from the fight ahead. The Phoenix rage will be unbridled, but I trust you are prepared for the worst. Fight well, friend. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I'm actually gonna end it there, but thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.